Thank you, Jill. Those working on the front lines, including those in the healthcare profession, have been working around the clock to help others during the COVID-19 pandemic. Joining me right now from Long Island, New York, is a face that some of you may recognize, Loretta Budd. She was an evening anchor on WVVA from the late 80s through the mid-90s. Now she's a registered nurse. So Loretta, thank you for joining us on WVVA.
Oh, I'm glad to be back. It feels like home even from this far away.
I bet. So first, tell our viewers what you've been up to as a registered nurse and what led you from news to nursing.
Well, I've been a nurse for about 7 years, and long story short, I wasn't that busy lately because a lot of surgeries were canceled, with the COVID risk to elective patients seeking surgery. So a lot of us weren't that busy, and I was watching the news and really answered the call for help. I thought, gosh, if I don't help, people like me, then who will? Because the nurses were needed so desperately. So that's how I landed here. And the evolution from being a news anchor to a nurse was kind of an interesting journey. I have a daughter with special needs. Never dreamed that that kind of thing would happen to us. We were lucky to have this baby finally, and then we had a very difficult delivery, and she nearly died at birth. So kind of acting in the capacity a lot of the time with her as a nurse, I thought I might as well just learn to be a nurse, and I thought I would be a nurse practitioner eventually, but I think I'm done with school, honestly, Mel. So
yeah, I don't blame you on that, Loretta, too. So that's incredible that your daughter led you into healthcare, and then you've been in Long Island since early April, so what's it been like being on the front lines?
It has been heart-wrenching. Gosh, it's so many things. I try not to break up, but if people think this is fake or some kind of conjecture, this whole COVID thing, if they don't believe it's happening, then they're sadly mistaken. It is serious. It is getting better, but there are a lot of people in their 30s and 40s and 50s who have succumbed to this disease with no underlying disease states that we know of. I mean, it's very, very serious. I mean, I think I'm happy that it hasn't hit other areas of the country like it has here. But it's a real thing. It's scary. We don't really understand it. It's a lot. It really is.
And Loretta, how have you managed to stay strong through all this? Because I can imagine being on the front lines, it can take a toll emotionally and on your mental well-being. So how have you managed to stay strong throughout this whole ordeal?
I think with what a lot of us do here is I walk daily. When I'm not working, sometimes take a 5-mile walk, and I've found that that's probably, of all the things I do daily, when I'm not working is probably the best help to me personally. I pray, talk to my husband, FaceTime with my daughter. She doesn't talk back, but at least I can see her little face, and it kind of keeps me grounded and a little, keeps that little bit of normalcy intact. But it's not easy, and I tell you, a lot of healthcare workers are, been in this up here for 5 or 6 weeks now, and the ones who've been here from the beginning, that is, and it's, it takes its toll on these folks. I've only been here for 4 weeks now, and I can't imagine.
Well, we'll definitely be keeping you in our thoughts and prayers as well, Loretta, and it's good to see you here on WVVA. And if you'd like to hear more of Loretta's story, we'll have a full interview with her coming up on In Focus here in a few weeks. And it's time now to send things over to Catherine, who has a full look at your forecast.